Good morning, my brothers and sisters. On this episode number 185 of the Good Morning Guys podcast. Thank you so much for joining us on this fine morning, afternoon, evening, or night as we continue discussing the game of life amidst the other games we love to watch and to play. I am one of your four hosts, the Brazilian Mountaineer and Transition Ninja, Lucas Ham Swisher. Also with me, the judge, the jury, and the executioner of fake news and spoilers, Patrick Mortadella Novacell.
Oh, tudo bem.
Beleza. Você?
That's all I know.
Okay, fair enough.
And it's done.
You've already forgotten. On his left and my right, the Rocket League and Beast of the East who can make you laugh in 3 words or less, your money back, Ronnie Baloney Johantis.
Hi.
Ronnie Baloney.
Hi.
I love it. Nice.
That's right. And last but certainly not least, the final member of the GMG Quadfecta who's got music in his heart, Doctor Who and Apex Legends on his brain, and La Coretta in his old stomago, Marc Bruschetta Boucher.
What did you just call me?
Marc Bruschetta.
Oh,
Bruschetta
okay.
Boucher. What did you think I said?
I have no idea. But
Get your mind out of the gutter, Mark.
well, you led me there, so
No, I didn't. I said a real word, a real deli meat.
None of these words were made up.
I
It's
don't
a real
believe
deli
you.
meat. It's yummy. Bruschetta. You never had it? It's Italian ham.
Wait, are you saying
Wow.
Prue or Brew?
Bruschetta.
Yeah, that I've never had.
You know, things went so smoothly when it was just me and Mark.
Too smoothly. It was like,
What? Hold on a second. Is it
like a baby's
bee
butt.
or a bee? I'm pretty sure it's bee, right?
Bruschetta, isn't that a type of bread?
Bruschetta is it's
Prue?
like
Sounds
tomato.
like a cheese.
Bruschetta is tomatoes, olive oil, and oregano.
Feels like you could be making this up, though.
And then
Right.
bruschetta is
Wait.
an Italian ham.
Is
so bruschetta is thick slices of bread grilled, rubbed with garlic, drizzled with olive oil, and topped with tomatoes and herbs.
After hours.
That's Mark. I
Honestly,
like that.
right
Yep.
at the end there is really when he brought it home.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, no, this is a piece of bread. You're wrong about this.
Now,
He got
are you
that, and then he
thinking
got that
of
oil.
prosciutto?
No, is that how it goes? Prosciutto.
Yes.
What's prosciutto?
Prosciutto is an Italian uncooked, unsmoked, and dry cured ham.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah,
I was mixing
yeah.
the two. So
Yeah.
guess what? You're both. You're bruschetta and prosciutto. Bruschetta.
It sounds like some sort of like samurai game we're about to play on PlayStation.
Sounds like
It could
Warden
be.
from Olive Garden.
Yeah.
Mm. Man, I'd love some Olive Garden right now.
So that's a thing. That's the thing that happened.
Yeah, it is a thing that happened.
Yep.
Well, that was my attempt at kind of following through on what I said on episode 179 when I said I was going to introduce you guys all with deli meat names. And Ronnie wasn't here, so he couldn't speak for himself. You were going to be Marc Turkey Boucher, but
Gobble gobble.
prosciutto or bruschetta, as some call it, just sounded better. So I went with it.
As one
Bruschetta.
calls it.
Marc Bruschetta Boucher. Yep,
Well, hi.
as some call it. I'm one of those. Hi. I'm glad you are here, and I'm glad you Mark Fact did that. Thank you so much.
You're
So,
welcome.
guys, we missed you last week. We are so glad you held down the fort. We're so glad you talked poorly about my internet and talked about how babies are very scary. And we did not disagree with you, but we laughed the whole time while we were listening to you. So, let's go ahead and jump into what's new news. We got lots of good things to cover and talk about and chat about. So we're going to start with old Ronnie J himself. Ronnie Johantis, how are you?
I'm good, actually. I just woke up from a long nap, so my energy level is pretty low.
All right.
So I'm definitely counting on, especially you, Lucas, to really bring the heat here.
Heat's coming right here, right now.
So for me this week, I didn't have a whole lot of extra, exciting things that have happened. I'm still trying to get through Blazing Beaks, which is just impossible. I actually just beat the boss for the second level. There's 5 of them, so
All
I
right.
made it to the 3rd level for the first time.
How many runs have you done? Would you
Probably at least
guesstimate?
at least 30 to 40.
Woo! All right.
Yeah,
All right.
they're really fast though. I would say it's equivalent to like Hades if you were to only make it to like the second level, you know.
Right.
It's not, you can die all of a sudden, like you could have 6 hearts and then one of their like characters is like a big bull in the second and he just like runs you over and he does like 2 damage. Then you try to run, somebody might shoot you and it'll do another 2, and then all of a sudden you're just dead right away. So making it to beating the second level boss, I did unlock another character. I don't know how many there are. I tried to actually get on and look this up today. I wanted to see, like, you know, most games have like a tips and tricks, you know, kind of like for starters. Like, I could not find a video like that, which is the first time I think that's ever happened.
AKA
pretty new, right?
But it is. I think it is newer. So we'll wait and I guess kind of see. But it is. I mean, I think it was Patrick before we were talking about this, and he said it's like Enter the Gungeon. Like, it is like Enter the Gungeon. With a few different things. So I'm still working on beating that. The hunt is on for me as far as new system goes. I'm at the point now where I am ready to buy one. I really haven't been like, you know, keeping like track online, like really searching it out. This weekend I was at Best Buy. They actually just sold their last Xbox like the day before, because they've been getting I guess shipments of Xboxes in. So I'm gonna check back there from time to time. But I honestly, when I was there, I was thinking to myself, man, if they have either one, I'm probably just gonna buy it. Which is a little different. I really have been thinking I'm not gonna get a PlayStation. However, everybody's playing Elden Ring on PlayStation. So
if
I were to
that's
get it,
where
then,
the cool kids are.
I mean, apparently.
Patrick's played it twice on PlayStation.
And then I look back to like, what am I playing right now on the Xbox? Which is nothing. So it doesn't, I don't know. I'm sure it'll end up being an Xbox first, but depending on availability, I guess.
All right. I like how this sounds.
You should talk to Patrick. He could probably, help you out with that.
He's the guy, like, Pat's like the guy in prison that can get things for you.
Yes.
That's right.
He knows people.
Now that he's stateside.
Yeah. So no, I mean, I'm kind of on the prowl for one of those. I get my couch tomorrow.
Woohoo!
Woo!
Nice.
So
that's right. The 22nd. That's what you said last week.
I can't even tell you how awesome it's going to be, because I like literally playing video games and stuff like is not the same without a comfortable chair to sit in. And I'm not one of those people that like want to sit like in a computer chair and play video games. Like, I'm not a computer gamer. I can't sit at my desk and look at my computer that long. Like, nope. I like to be like completely laid comfortably across the couch somewhere. That's where it's at. That's gaming, if you ask me.
100%.
Sweet.
Outside of that, last week I did mention very briefly that I literally hate the Cincinnati Reds. I think a lot of Cincinnati fans are probably feeling that right now. They traded away a few of our, I don't want to say like best players, but I would say Jesse Winker was probably our best hitter, to be honest. And that they just, once you get, as a fan, once you get connected to players, once you get kind of like emotionally attached a little bit, like you're like, man, I like this guy. Like, you're following them on Instagram and stuff like that. You're seeing their family. And when they're with the organization for a few years and you see them go, just all of the sudden, it sucks. It sucks.
Yeah. Did you hear what Jesse Winker said in his first interview with the Seattle Mariners? He was like, I'm so excited to be part of an organization that is set on winning.
Yeah.
I was like,
I mean, and honestly, it's like,
says it all right there.
He's not wrong. Like, he's just
right.
He's not wrong. He even like in his like exit interview, I guess. Like, he was like tearing up like with reporters and stuff, and it's like, oh, like, it just made me feel even worse.
Mm-hmm.
So, on the flip side of that, the Bengals are making moves to win.
Yes.
Yeah.
All
right.
The Bengals have signed 3 offensive linemen, and they have paid the money. So, that's where they definitely needed work, and they have absolutely went out and spent the money they needed to. I thought it was interesting, Patrick. I don't know. The story is going around a little more now, but so I figured out there when they have a player in that's a free agent that they're trying to basically impress. They're trying to woo this guy when they bring him into Cincinnati, right?
Yep.
They have this whole thing, this whole day planned or whatever. And Joe Burrow, the quarterback, is actually the last person that they meet with. So he's the closer.
Yeah.
And turns out he also closes off the field. Because he's killing it.
Yeah. He takes him to a nice Jeff Ruby Cincinnati steakhouse and says, you should play for us. And they got 3 free agent offensive linemen to replace our garbage line. And I'm so excited.
Me too.
Yeah.
They so for the people who aren't in Cincinnati, because if you live in Cincinnati, you probably heard the story already. But Joe Burrow sent a text to this latest guy. His name's like La'el Collins. He was like one of the top sought after free agents out there for as a lineman. So he was a big signing for us. But he texted him and just said, "Deal done," with a bunch of question marks. And the guy responded with, "Yeah, your bodyguard's in town to stay. Like nobody's going to touch you."
Yes.
And he's a massive human being. Like he's
good to hear.
A monster. But yeah, it is. So he's finally going to be protected like he should have probably been the last couple of years.
Yep.
So they've only gotten better on paper. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet deal.
But, that's pretty much it for me. The Cats they're getting better.
Yeah,
they're getting better. They don't like. They don't like each other at all. So,
right.
But they're not like. I'm not worried about them like throwing hands anymore.
Oh, okay.
They pretty much they pretty much just avoid each other. Really. There's one like Elizabeth's cat is definitely top of the pecking order. Like she's been a house cat her whole life. She's definitely meaner.
Oh.
So
my
I just have to like watch out that my cat's not getting like pressed across the like apartment every single day. Like every now and then, if it's been like a few hours and I notice she hasn't like gone to the bathroom or gone in to get water or whatever, like I'll literally carry her in just to make sure she's like getting the stuff she needs. So
yeah. Do you have like safe words?
No, actually she's so my cat Willow, she's the only one that's really been hissing lately. But they get pretty close, man. They've been a couple feet away from each other without like hissing at each other. So they're getting really close. So, and I'm sure there might be a little, fuss here and there.
They might get there.
But
don't give up.
I don't think at this point they're going to be best friends ever. So, but I didn't think they would either.
Just tolerate each other.
Yeah. But that's it for me. What about you, Mark?
So, obviously, it's kind of been a short period of time from Wednesday to now.
It does feel like we just did this last night.
Yep. Are you doing like a drinking game, Lucas? What was that?
I was just taking a drink.
Oh, okay. I see.
Sorry.
I see how
I felt I didn't want Patrick to be left out.
I thought I said something and you were taking like a pretend drink.
Do the do.
When I did something. No.
What's going on?
Now I'm so paranoid.
Oh no.
But yeah, so since we had a short period of time, basically the main focus on the real life front for the weekend was this part's not supposed to be that funny. Stop.
For you audio listeners, no idea.
Sorry, we're making up for lost time, Mark.
Yep.
We missed it last week.
Welcome back.
Missed messing with you.
So the focus of the weekend was mainly going to North Carolina for the events surrounding my wife's grandfather's funeral.
Yes.
So Friday night, or actually Friday morning, I had to actually go out and get some new dress clothes because none of my dress clothes fit me anymore.
Oh yeah, that's right. You lost like 1,000 pounds.
A whole person, elephant, half of an elephant,
like
maybe.
12
No,
people.
how many pounds have you lost so far now?
70.
Oh, goodness,
Dang,
that's amazing, man.
That is
so awesome.
Amazing.
That's like someone ripped my 9-year-old son out of you. And was just like, well, that's it.
just have bad mental images now of
Yep.
James literally being
We just ripped a
out.
child out of you.
At least that wasn't
Congratulations,
Alien
it's a boy.
6.
That's a visual I've
Yep.
never heard of.
Good times.
Yeah.
So yeah, Friday morning I had to pick up some dress clothes because I was swimming in all of my other ones.
Mm-hmm.
And then we left Friday afternoon. It was kind of like it was a viewing time at the funeral home, but it was specifically just for the family, because mainly the visitation and the funeral were done at their church, my wife's grandparents' church. But this time at the funeral home was just kind of just for the family, which was actually good that we did that, just because, like, you know, it's a viewing, so it's open casket and everything. So you have time to kind of process things, whereas you wouldn't so much if you're just walking right into the visitation and funeral time. So
Right.
so it was nice to be able to, you know, process that and take it in, you know, just as a family at that time.
Mhm.
But yeah, so we went for that. And then Friday night we had a dinner. It was a catered dinner for just the family, which was great. I had a great time seeing family members that I hadn't seen in a while since my wife and I's wedding.
Oh, wow.
With some relatives they haven't seen in about 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like my wife's grandfather's sister, she has not seen this side of the family since my in-laws got married. So that was like 30 years ago. So but yeah, it was good to be able to see them and meet them and all of that. And then drove
Hold
back.
on. I'm still stuck on the grandfather's sister. Is that great aunt?
Yeah, I guess that would be great aunt.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Family
assume
tree
yes.
checks out.
Okay, now I can follow.
Just don't get me into that once removed, twice removed.
Fourth cousin, 5 times removed.
That's
Man
a friend.
off the street.
That's a friend.
But yeah, and then we drove back, and then Saturday morning drove back to North Carolina, where we had the visitation time, and that was, you know, more of the open time for you know, friends and extended family and things like that to come for visitation, visit with the family, you know, it's open casket, all that kind of stuff. And then we had the service, which was absolutely fantastic. Her grandfather specifically asked my brother-in-law and myself to do some interlude accompaniment on guitar. And all things like that. And also I got kind of sort of dragged into a song I wasn't supposed to be part of, and just started playing around. Thankfully, it wasn't a difficult song to play, and I knew it enough to where I was able to easily just kind of jump in. But yeah, I was up on the platform basically for the whole hour, standing up doing just different interlude type stuff. And when people would come up and speak, like when my mother-in-law got up and speak, she wanted us to play during that and all of that. So but it was just a really, really sweet time of just honoring his memory and more so pointing to the gospel and pointing to Christ. So that was completely what that service was about. And then from there, we went to the private graveside service, where they had an honor guard, which was like 5 or 6 servicemen, active or not active, but retired military, who they did a salute, like a gun salute kind of thing, which was awesome to see.
Yeah.
And you know, military honors and everything like that, because he served in Vietnam. He was in the Army in Vietnam. And it's just a nice, sweet memorial to him. And each of the grandchildren put flowers on his casket and all of that. So it's just a real sweet time. And then of course we went back to the church after and had food. So that was fantastic. Food. But all in all, just a great weekend, just a nice time to be able to remember him. And obviously there's a time of mourning and a time of celebration and all of those things. So it was good to be able to spend time with family and do all of that. That was pretty much it on the life side of things. Very limited on the gaming side, just because, this week was kind of weird, but doesn't mean I didn't play any games. So I did jump a little bit into Fortnite.
Oh, I was not expecting that.
Because
Okay.
they
That
launched
was a bomb.
they launched their new season this Sunday, and if you haven't seen it, they have taken out building.
No way.
I'm
Like
not kidding.
just totally ripped it out like a
Yeah.
70-pound boy.
Exactly like a 70-pound boy. It is
Just
not
like,
there.
nope, no more of that. Rip it out.
Yeah, right now in Fortnite, you cannot build.
No
Wow,
way.
that's crazy.
So I figured, I'm gonna get into that. I played around, didn't fare so well, but I'm hoping to jump more into it this week with some friends, because I know Watson, our buddy Watson.
Yeah, Catman. Na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, Catman.
Indeed.
Yeah. Yep.
He's playing.
I mean, King Amos. Sorry,
yes.
I misquoted.
But he's actually streaming it right now as we're recording.
Oh.
So,
Look at that.
but yeah, I'll
give me a
probably
second.
Go check him out, folks. King Amos on is
Hold
that
that
his
thought.
name on Twitch? King Amos, or is that just
Yeah,
his name
it's
on
King Amos? Yeah.
Yeah.
AMIS.
AKA Catman?
Yes. No. But yeah. So right now, I think it's only for a limited time. But for
It
right
should
now,
be permanent.
well, people are saying that, like, man, you should keep this as a game type
But
on this
yeah.
game. Yeah. But yeah, right now, you can play and there's no building whatsoever.
All right.
The
All
other
right.
game that I jumped into, which just released on this past Wednesday on that old Xbox Game Pass, which I was a little hesitant to jump into, but you've heard me talk about this game on the show before. A little game called Tunic.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were going to say first.
Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah, I was hesitant to jump into Tunic just because people use the DS word when trying to explain this, Dark Souls.
Okay. I was like DS word, like Nintendo DS.
Yes.
It's like a handheld on your television.
Yes. Has touchscreen controls.
Yeah. Just go up to your TV and just start doing this.
Smudging it.
Where did all these fingerprints come from?
Who's
no,
that?
that would be my wife.
Is that what your wife sounds like?
That would be a horrible impression of what my wife sounds.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, so I was a little hesitant about it just because somebody told me that this game is quite difficult. I was like, I don't know if I want to deal with that.
Like Elden Ring difficult?
Not so much like Elden Ring difficult, but it's like baby's first Dark Souls. If that makes sense.
Babies?
Yeah. Like, it's not terrible, but it's not 100%
Don't hate it.
fun.
I don't
What a
hate
weird
it.
show
Yeah.
today already.
Yes, that's right. I don't hate it.
Don't hate it.
Yeah, that's that. If Mark doesn't hate it, it's got his seal of approval.
Yeah.
It's good enough.
So I was like, you know what? It's got way too much of a Zelda homage to it going on. I've got to
Yeah.
give it a try. If I hate
Got to
it,
give it a whirl.
then I'll uninstall it. But so I jumped in and I found out that there are ways to kind of sort of cheat in this game.
Hey-oh.
Oh,
They
Let's go.
have
Game Genie?
no, not really.
Put in the codes.
No Game Shark, no Game Genie here, but
Oh.
so there's actually they have accessibility options. If you go in there, they have 2 modes. There's a mode called no fail mode, and there is a mode called I think it's like no lost stamina mode or something like that.
All right.
Can you turn both of those on?
You sure
And
can.
become like,
For all time.
Patrick just went all French on us. French it up. Enchanté, mademoiselle.
Dans la bibliothèque. But
oh, that was Spanish.
no, bibliothèque. Bibliothèque is French.
Yeah, I definitely heard
Biblioteca.
Spanish. I heard donde. What did you say?
La
¿Dónde
biblioteca.
está el biblioteca?
Sometimes there's accent on the E, but I didn't say the full the biblioteca, which is Spanish. But anyway,
I trust you.
I'm glad. But anyway, so yeah, those 2 modes. No fail mode is basically you can't take damage. You will not die. And then
You can't turn that on for real life.
yeah.
I know, right? Things would get real crazy. Just running into traffic. See what happens.
Hit me. But yeah, and then obviously no lost stamina. There's speed stamina in this game, like for like rolling and dodging and things like that. But you can obviously drain that. In that case, you don't lose that. So as of right now, I have turned the stamina mode on, but I have not turned the no fail mode on yet.
You haven't needed it yet?
Yeah, mainly because I was like, nah, let's not go too far into baby mode here. Let's actually still have some challenge.
That is straight up baby mode.
Yeah. so we're not there yet. But so far I'm having fun with it.
That's good.
Obviously, some of the enemies can be pretty challenging, but there's only been like a sort of mini boss at this point that I've come up against. I haven't come up against a major boss yet.
Gotcha.
I mean, this thing absolutely reeks of Zelda homage. Everything about it is fantastic, but it has its own little art style spin on it. So if you have Game Pass, it is free. Go play it.
Get in there.
Yep.
All right.
So, but that's pretty much it for me, because unfortunately stream did not happen this week because of all the life stuff happening.
Right. Makes sense.
But next time, keep an eye on the socials. We'll be hitting the old water temple on the Ocarina of Time.
Look out.
Yeah.
Everyone's favorite.
Yep. So, Patrick,
Hi.
did you do anything significant whatsoever?
Hello.
So let's stick with really the life front. So my wife's birthday was a couple weeks ago, and for her birthday, I was like, it's time to get a camper. She's been asking to get a camper, for a decade, maybe more. And so I was like, you know what? It is time. And so she started looking all over Facebook and sites and whatever. And
Wherever you buy campers.
Black market.
What's that? Yeah, where do you buy campers? I don't know.
A camper store. I don't know.
If you go to
Campers R Us.
Facebook shopping area, whatever that tab is, you can whatever.
It's like a dealership for campers.
So I go out of town and she's like, hey, I found a camper. Take a look at it. And I was like, all right, okay. So she scheduled a time for us to go see it when I returned. And lo and behold, like a couple hours later, she's like, yeah, I bought it. I was
Surprise.
like, all right. Well,
I couldn't wait.
Guess that's the one we're getting.
Yeah, I know. She's like, she brought her brother and her dad. They all checked it out and they were like, this is good. Go ahead and get it. And so we're in the process of getting a hitch for our van, getting all the accoutrements for whatever a camper needs. And we set it up in the driveway.
What is that, like the hanging lights and like a grill?
Like pavers,
spray?
like things to keep it from rolling away, and just bug spray. and
Yeah.
like stuff, just random things to add to the camper. And so we set it up yesterday. It was a really nice day yesterday. So we set it up, and it's like the new hotness. Like all the kids wanted to stay in there. They're like, they go out there, instead of playing their tablets inside, they took their tablets in the camper, and they were just playing games in there all day.
Nice.
Of course. That's what it's for.
Of course, yeah. So the wife and Clark, they spent the night in the camper last night just to test it out, and it was nice. The only thing is, they said is when you're like moving around in your bed, it kind of shakes the camper a little bit. So we'll have to figure out a way to minimize that. But other than that, they had enough room. And I actually can stand in it, which is one of the big prerequisites for me. I can just walk in and stand in there. So we are a camper family now. We no longer need to sleep on the ground in a tent, which is one of the reasons why I hate camping. Like, why the heck am I doing this? You're telling me I need to pay you to sleep on the ground? Like, this is a racket. I don't understand this. So now we have a camper. So we'll see how my camping attitude changes once we start going in the camper.
Nice.
It's nice to be able to go inside to like a place rather than just a tent.
I know, a tent where you can't stand
up.
You have to sit down or lay down. I know, right?
That is nice.
You got to slide in like a worm.
So now you're a camper dad. You got to do the whole camper dad t-shirts. I think your email address is going to have to change to camper dad.
I mean, I'm already, so I've never had driven a car with, towed anything before behind. I've never hitched something before, so I'm like learning today of how to do that. And I felt like a dad. Like, it was like a true dad moment where I'm like, back up a little bit more, just 3 inches to the right, 3 inches to the right, stop. All right. And then I'm cranking this thing to go down on the hitch. I'm like, man, this is so dad moment right here. Like, I've never felt like a dad until today.
I feel like we need to get you in a video with that trend like they did on TikTok. Like they put it to the music of the Lion King with the "It is time," and they break out this box, and it's got like dad shorts, these huge white pull-up socks, and New Balance shoes.
Yes, I just saw that the other day too.
Have you tried to like back this thing up and like put it in the spot yet or anything? Like,
no. So I was watching my father-in-law do it, and took about 30 minutes to put it where we wanted to put it, because we have like a certain spot in our backyard we're putting it. And there's like just a big, huge pole that's in the way that really complicated things that we're going to, and it's a pole that's been there since we bought the house. And the pole is like in the ground in a slab of concrete. So we have to go in there, dig around that, and either cut it off or just pull up the concrete slab. Pretty sure we're just going to cut it off below the ground level, so we don't have to pick up that concrete slab. That's, who knows how big that is underneath the ground. So once that's gone, it's going to be a little bit easier. But it was like, like you're 15 and a half and you're trying to like parallel park. You're like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm going to try to do it anyways. Like, I was like, but in this case, you have like a camper that you're trying to tow. And it's like, it's like the exact opposite of what it feels like you're going to do. Like, you turn right on the car and the camper turns left. And I'm just like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, what?
It's actually so the longer your trailer is, the easier it is. So like if you had like a, I don't know, 20 or 30 foot trailer, it actually would be like a lot easier. It's the little short ones like the camper that you have that are just like a nightmare to get into like a certain spot, because they'll move so easily one way or the other.
It's like, dude, we had to like maneuver it, and we only have like 16 by 16 inch slabs that we put the tires on. And trying to maneuver it in a way where they both end up on there. He couldn't park it on the concrete slab he got one tire on, and he's like, well, all you got to do is just lift it and just lift it on the other side. I'm like, hold on a second. This is like a 1,300-pound thing that we're just going to lift.
Does it weigh that much? So a lot of those smaller ones, you sometimes can like have like two guys just pick up by the like trailer hitch part and like wheel it.
That's what we did. Yeah.
Yeah.
We just, it was me and my brother-in-law just picked it up and moved it.
That's a good thing to know when you're,
I didn't
when
know
you're
you could do
frustrated
that.
after 30 minutes of trying to back it in. Like, yep, let's just unhook it here.
Yeah. So we're a camper family now.
All right.
Very sweet.
Sweet deal.
Outside of that, on the gaming front, I've been playing a ton of WWE 2K22. This game is absolutely insane with how many modes there are. So in 2K20, you had a universe mode, which is basically you can create shows and go through the months of the year and go through Raw and SmackDown and create your own shows if you want to do WCW and download wrestlers, add them to those shows. And that was basically it. Now you have these there's a mode called My Faction, which is like Madden Ultimate Team, where you collect cards and you can upgrade the cards and use them in matches, and it's insane. I want to get the platinum on this, but one of the trophies is to win 500 matches in My Faction alone.
Oh my gosh.
And right now I'm not I've played probably, I don't know if I had to look at it, maybe 60 hours, and I've gotten 74 wins. So it's like, I don't, this is going to be a platinum I'm going to get probably in 2023. But in My Faction, there's 3 separate modes. You have your weekly towers, which are basically like the Mortal Kombat towers. You just fight, increasingly harder and wrestlers. There is a 4v4 mode, and then there's a mode called Proving Grounds, which is like they're super hard, and they're all like varied matches, where one match you're going to be doing steel cage, or the next match you're going to be doing a ladder match, the next one is the last man standing, the next one's going to be an Iron Man match, and they could just get really, really difficult. And that's really hard. One of the trophies is to get 200 medals. And that means if you play on normal, you get 1 medal for winning. If you're on hard, you get 2 medals for winning. And then if you play on legendary, you get 3 medals for winning. So I've been trying to do as many legendary matches as I can. At this point, I think I have maybe 120 medals so far. But there's I think right now that you can get 1,200 medals. So I'm not even close to scratching the surface in this, and I've already put in so many hours this game. So that's cool. That mode is really, really fun. There's a lot of intricacies to your cards. You can only play those cards so many times. When I say play cards, I mean you have that card, that's your wrestler, and you wrestle with that person. But you can only wrestle with them for 7 times, and then you lose that card. The card becomes no longer usable. So you can apply contracts to that card so you can wrestle with that person again and things like that. So many, layers to that mode. There's a My GM mode, which is basically kind of like a franchise mode in a game where you have budgets, you have shows, you sign wrestlers, you trade wrestlers and things like that. I haven't gotten into that yet because My Faction has been the mode I've been in. They also have the universe mode as well. It's been upgraded. They have a showcase mode, which is you go through the entire career. I think there's maybe 16 matches of Rey Mysterio. He's been wrestling for 30 years. So they're going through 16 different matches of his 30-year career, which is pretty cool. And yeah, so many modes. I'm going to be playing this game for at least the next year. I don't know when there's going to be a 2K23, or if they're going to do the same thing where they skip the year and come out with every 2 years. So I'm kind of hoping they just add new things to this game, new wrestlers, new DLC or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, playing a ton of that.
Sounds like they made up for all the previous iterations of 2K.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of quality of life improvements to this game. It's really, really fun. Having a blast with it.
Sweet.
Outside of that, Lucas and I played a few games together this past week.
We did.
Played Contra 1, Contra 2, and Contra 3. We beat the Contra trilogy.
That's right.
And then we also beat the Battletoads remake on Xbox. 4 games. We beat 4 games this past week.
We beat 5 games last week.
5
Transformers
games.
Human Alliance, my friend, the arcade edition of Transformers. And it was magical.
So Contra 1 was a solid 8.5 out of 10. I mean, it's the nostalgia that was there.
Contra Run, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. I just
okay.
Pop that baby up.
Point higher.
I mean, he is always a little bit higher.
Yep. Half a point. Give it that half a point.
Contra 2 goes down.
That would be Super C.
Oh yeah, Super C. Oh, it makes no sense, but okay.
That's super.
It goes down to 8.
AC.
And then Contra 3.
It was an 8.
Contra 3 gets a 3 out of 10.
Ooh.
It gets 2 scores. 3 out of 10 for the game itself.
Yes, and then a 10 out of 10 for the fun factor.
Oh my gosh, we laughed so hard playing. It was nuts. At one point, both your characters one hand a rocket and ride it with one hand, flying through the air while also shooting. And then you start hopping between rockets as they explode. It was like Fast and the Furious meets Command, like Rambo.
I think I ever played Contra 3.
Dude, Contra 3 is nuts. And we don't even understand how a normal human being could beat this game, because it was like hit after hit, mini boss after mini boss, a totally like cheap hitboxes and cheap bosses and everything about it. Like we saved scum so much. Like it was like reload. Okay, save here.
As soon as we beat an enemy, save. Save it.
It was hilarious.
There was it was like, the normal 2D side scroller, but then there were a couple levels where it was top down split screen, and your L1 and R1 buttons were to turn your character.
Yeah,
like the orientation of your character.
It took a few deaths to realize how to even turn ourselves, because you would face the same direction and then just move around the level. There would be enemies behind us, and we're like, how do we turn around and kill that thing? And
do you
then
know
we
what
figured
year
out
that
it was the
third one
button.
came out in? I'd be curious.
I think it was like 92, 93, somewhere around there.
The nausea was real.
Oh man.
Levels.
And it was split screen. So like I would turn like clockwise and Patrick would turn counterclockwise. And it was just like, oh, don't focus too hard or you're going to throw up.
And then
motion sickness.
Part of the level, the game designers, for whatever reason, decide to put like little parts of the level where it like kind of like flushes you in a circular pattern. So if you even touch those, the whole screen would start going in circles, and it was horrendous, or the worst level design I have ever seen in any game in the history of games.
Yeah, it was bad. It was so fun.
Just want to drop this little nugget on you. Speedrun world record for Contra 3. 12 minutes, 12 seconds.
Whatever. 12 minutes.
People were already doing Blazing Beak speed runs, by the way. I saw those on
I'm
YouTube.
sure they are.
Yeah.
Love it.
They're like
That's
6
crazy.
minutes or something.
We watched
6 minutes.
We watched speed run of Elden Ring in 28 minutes.
Yeah.
28 minutes.
It was nuts. That dude, and it was after Patrick and I played for hours. And we're like, we are done. We are done with this game. Didn't beat a single boss. And the dude who did the 28-minute run, he was hopping on mysterious rocks, like jumping over ledges, what would look like to us blindly, and then just only going by a bunch of stuff.
Yep.
I think in his total run, he fought like 5 bosses, maybe 4 or 5,
and one
barely
of the
any upgrades.
Didn't even move.
He did a save. He did a save glitch where it just sat there and just let him kill. It just let him kill him.
It's the beautiful thing about FromSoft games. They're absolutely huge, and there's crazy things to do, but they're glitchy as crap.
Yeah, and this guy took advantage of it.
Yeah,
but he owned the final boss.
Yeah.
I can't tell you like who it was, what it was, We can't even give spoilers because I have no idea what happened. But
I know. We're like, what is going on? How is he doing this? Oh, he's
killed the
jumping over
thing.
there.
oh, and he would be talking, and he's just like, oh yeah, the last time I did that, the rotary girder on the blah 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 blah, those enemies, and I'm just like, Patrick, I'm just
I
like,
think
wait,
at
what?
one point he's like, yeah, obviously I just did this. And I was like, what do you mean? Obviously, none of this
It's not
is
obviously to none of us.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Fantastic.
But yeah, the Contra games were a blast. Battletoads was just pure ridiculousness. Like the comedy in it was way more entertaining than I thought it would be. It was spot on. The level design, not so much. Some of the bike levels, you guys remember from the old school Battletoads, the side-scrolling bike level. These were not as hard, but they lasted for years. Like we sat there. I had to go shave. Like, can we pause? I need to
When
shave.
is this gonna end?
I can't see through my
years meme.
Yeah, the 84
Yes,
years
yeah.
meme was used. It was crazy. There were a few of those levels, and
There was the level variety. There was a lot of level variety.
There was.
You
It was
would
very
think
creative.
that the Battletoads game would be a 2D side scroller beat 'em up. There's like 3 levels out of like the 700 levels that they have.
A third of the game, actually, we didn't fight anything. We just ran
I know.
around.
I was like, what are we doing? We're just
Platforming.
doing...
What is happening? We haven't fought anyone in an hour. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was still a fun game. Like, it's
It was
very
fun.
entertaining, very funny. It was like watching a Saturday morning, like,
Yeah.
Adult Swim cartoon,
Mm,
because it definitely was not one that I would watch with my son
got it.
at this point, because he'd be repeating stuff.
It was
yeah.
goofy. It was really
But
goofy.
it was really goofy.
The writing to this game was awesome. It was really good.
It was great. It was great. It's very, very rude, very funny. It was very Battletoads, like just how you'd expect them to be. So,
Nice.
but it was fun. It was a fun little game. And then got a shout out for Transformers Human Alliance. If it wasn't for the fact that Patrick and I were able to get like such a sweet deal on credits, we might have given up on the game, but we were determined to beat this game. It had awful like mini games within it. It was a light gun game where you just play as this guy and girl and you're saving the Earth, and with Autobots and Optimus Prime, and he's, doing his thing. He's clearly like the C version of what is his name? Peter something. Who's the voice of Optimus Prime?
Optimus Prime
Peter
voice.
Cullen?
Peter
Peter
Cottontail.
Cottontail?
Yep.
Yes, Peter
The
Cullen.
voice of Optimus Prime, Peter Cottontail.
Giving him the C rating is very generous.
Well, yeah, but his voice compared to like the guys, the kid's voice that I think you played as,
Yeah.
comparatively, I mean, it was like that was a triple A actor. The one that like, oh no, what is happening? I have a headache. Like him complaining about having a headache halfway through the game. It's like, that's what you're worried about? You're getting
I know.
shot at by
Gross.
huge alien robots. You're like, oh, I have a headache. It's like, oh, get out of here, you punk. But it was a really fun little light game we played through. And then, so I would give Transformers Human Alliance, I would give it a solid 5 out of 10.
Same.
Middle of the
Yeah,
road.
Same.
Middle of the road. Just like it was only fun because Patrick was there. If I was sitting there, like even dual holding the light guns, I would have been like,
Nope.
And I don't know about your light gun. We didn't talk about this, but my light gun was delayed like I was remote playing. Like I would go and it would just like finally get there. I'm like, man, this is I'm not getting
rough.
any accuracy here.
But I don't remember the last time I actually rolled credits on an arcade game. So that was kind of a fun experience to do that with you.
Sweet.
So, and then of course we in the arcade we were at, I also owned him in air hockey, in basketball, and also fireman training school.
Fireman training school.
Yep.
Yeah, there's
That's what we
like
played. I don't
on
know the name of
screen, There's just like fire in Windows, and you have like a little squirt gun.
It wasn't even.
Oh,
It was a
okay.
literal like Carney game. Like you
Oh,
had
yeah.
a literal squirt gun, and you had these little panels with windows, and it just had blinking fire. It wasn't even like digital, or it was super old school. And the little fireman would just like slide up the ladder slowly as you put out the fires. And I destroyed Patrick.
Yeah, he destroyed me in that. Alpine racing.
Oh yeah, alpine skiing.
And the Cruisin' USA knockoff. He beat me.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Man, I came from behind in that one.
Yeah.
Just like I did with basketball.
Mm-hmm.
But you got me in the bowling game. We did play a bowling game.
I got one.
And it's partially because I kept hitting the screen of the bowling game.
So Lucas has never played skee ball before. And
I've played skee ball. Okay, I haven't played since being a child. Okay, I've grown a lot since I played skee ball.
So
thank you very much.
Lucas trying to roll like a Neanderthal caveman over here. He hits the front of the skee ball
like
ramp,
the lip, because I was
and it just launches upward, and I don't know how it didn't break the screen because it hits the screen pretty hard.
I hit the screen twice.
You don't get points for that, Lucas.
No,
you do not. I can attest to that. I got 0 points for those.
Yeah.
Good but it was fun time gaming. Yep.
Yeah.
Fun times.
Okay. I think that's it for me. I don't know if that
was
it
for you
or your update, but yeah.
I mean, my update is the topic because it is nothing but adventure. That's right, folks. Tonight we are talking about adventure. We're going to let his name is Delvin Cox from the Delvin Cox Experience on the Discord. He's actually going to lead us in for this topic. And then I'm going to connect it to why we're talking about adventure tonight, as some of you already know or may not know about what's been going on the past week and a half. Delvin Cox said in regards to adventure, well, it's not necessarily about me, but my friend I met on Twitter drove his Harley down to Miami to hang out with me. And we had a blast exploring all the cool Miami customs. And so Delvin had a little friend visit him. I think I saw the picture of he and his friend. It made me kind of sad when I was in Florida in January that I didn't swing by Miami 3 hours away from Orlando while I was killing myself to take my family to Disney, that I didn't go see Delvin. But I'm glad someone visited him. However, on my end, I actually received a visitor, as you guys know, a week and a half ago. Patrick Gosh Darn Novosel came to see me from Ohio, and we had an adventure, to say the least, and it was a blast.
Blasty blast.
It almost didn't happen.
Blast. It almost didn't happen. That is for sure. It had a rough start, to say the least. Yeah.
So let me preface it with
back it up. Tell us the context.
Yeah. To get to Brazil, you have to go through all these hoops, and one of the hoops is you have to get a negative COVID test. So you can either get a PCR test 3 days in advance or get a rapid antigen test within 24 hours of the flight. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to go ahead and get the PCR test. It's more accurate and I can get it early enough so I won't have to worry about getting the test the day of. So I go and I get it, and they're like, hey, it's Sunday night. If you want to, we're going to go ahead and get the test results. You're going to get it within 24 hours. You'll get it on Monday. I'm like, cool, sweet. Monday rolls around and it's like right the 24-hour mark hits, and I'm like, I haven't gotten anything yet. So I call the place and I'm like, hey, I haven't gotten my results yet. They're like, hey, usually it takes 48 to 36 hours. And I was like, wait a second. You said 48 to 36 hours?
That doesn't make sense.
I don't believe that you're even gonna give me the test results after that. So I'm like, okay. She's like, call back in the morning and we'll probably have the test results. Following morning comes and I'm like, okay, I don't have the test results. I call. They're like, hasn't come in yet. They usually comes in around 11. Call back a little bit later. 11 o'clock rolls by. No test results yet. So I call. They're like, hey, I haven't got my test results. They're like, hey, why don't you come in for a rapid test? And while we wait for your test results, or we find out what's going on with your test results. So I go there and I'm getting my rapid test. 15 minutes go by. They come back in. They're like, hey, your test results came back positive. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And he's like, oh, yeah. And by the way, the PCR test that you took on Sunday, yeah, it's still in our fridge. The guy never came and picked it up.
Oh, womp womp.
And so I'm
Fail.
like, you've got to be kidding me. So at this point, it's like 7:00 at night, and I'm going to Walgreens. I'm going to the other urgent care down the road. I go to CVS. They're like, yeah, they stopped doing COVID rapid tests at anytime after 7. It's closed. And I'm like, son of a gun. So I message my doctor. I'm like, hey, this is the deal. I don't believe that I'm positive for 1 second. Can I get a test in the morning? She's like, yeah, come on through. So I go get my test. And this is like the morning of my flight. So my flight, I need to go to the airport at 1:00 in the afternoon. And it is like 8:30 in the morning. So we're cutting it pretty close to when I need to get my negative COVID test. And the results came back, and it came back negative just 3 hours before I need to leave, where my test comes back negative. So it was close. I almost had to cancel my flight if that also came back positive.
Yep. I did lots of praying from that night before until the next day.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it was. So I ended up flying out to Brazil on Wednesday. It was an overnight flight. And then Lucas and I were doing something on Thursday, and it was like Thursday evening. And I get an email. They're like, hey, your results came in from your test on Sunday. And it came back negative. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. So I was negative. I was able to head down to Brazil and see Lucas.
Yeah, you were.
Yay!
Yeah. Yay! So Patrick survived. He did get eaten by a few mosquitoes, to say the least.
I think I counted, and I had like 32 bug bites.
That's it. 32. That's rookie numbers.
I would literally be having a panic
up.
attack with 32 mosquito
At one
bites.
point, it was like 78 degrees in the house, and I'm covered up in a blanket. And he's like, are you hot? And I was like, I don't care. They're not going to get me.
Touching me. Now, I did give him protection. I did put an anti whatever those bug what are those called? Like they send out the signal.
The don't work lights.
The don't work lights. Yeah, I put that in your room. That was supposed to work.
They don't work.
I did give him a racket. He got a racket. He got the electric racket. He got to enjoy it. Yeah, they bit him on his lips. I've never had that before.
I've never had a bug bite on my lips.
Impressive.
I'd be losing my mind.
Yeah.
Patrick was having too much fun to lose his mind. His mind was.
I tell you what, having that electric racket and killing those guys, man, it was the best feeling ever.
Time of your life,
right there.
Yeah.
He was constantly on the hunt. He was just like, we'd be talking, we'd be playing video games, and he'd be like, hold up. And then he'd run over, grab the racket, and be like, bop, 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 bop.
So when you walk outside, is there just like a storm cloud of mosquitoes? Like that's what I'm picturing. Like outside, it's just really dark. You have to just walk out into like just.
You walk outside,
millions.
and there's like, I don't know, several bats like hovering over the house. And I'm like, do your job. Your job is to kill these mosquitoes. You're not doing anything.
I think bats only eat like 1,000 a day. Like there's a million out there.
It's true.
I felt like there was
at one point, my son needed an escort to go, I don't know, feed the dog or take the garbage out or something. And
I think it was to pick up poop.
He's like, Pat, yeah, that's right, to pick up dog poop. And so we volunteered Patrick to walk around with him and enjoy the bats.
I was out there befriending some bats. I'm like, hey, come on inside.
Yeah,
where it's warm.
Yeah, when Patrick got here, I was so excited to see him. We got to talking, and I paid for parking, and we got to the car, and all of a sudden my eyes got wide, and I was like, I don't have the ticket. And I was like, I'll be right back. I ran all the way back. I had paid for the ticket, but it has to, it does the little card read to, say you paid, and then it gives you the ticket back. Well, I didn't grab the ticket. So I run back. It's not there. So then I go to the front desk payment lady, and I'm like, hey, so I paid. I just don't have the card. And she's like,
I don't believe you.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, you're a liar. Prove it.
Liar.
She's like, if you can show me on your credit card report, like online, where your statement where it started, it's coming out. So I go to access it through my phone, which I've never accessed it through my phone. I've only accessed it through my computer. and the website's like, we need to send you a code in order to access, and then you'll put that code into, and I have to do it all through my phone. So like looking at it here and then go back and forth, I was like, I'll just do a voicemail and I'll listen to it and I'll type it in while it's telling me. Well, it calls me and is like, your code is 472357. Goodbye. And I'm just like, wait, what? You can't do that. So I have to call
I've
back.
ever selected the voicemail option of those.
I'm never going to do it again. I went back to it like 3 times and I finally like put it on speakerphone and then had my phone and like typed it really fast. And then I copied and pasted it and it worked out eventually. And I think 45 minutes later, Patrick's been in my car for 45 minutes. He just gets to Brazil and I'm like, hey, just sit tight. Stay here and take a little nap.
I
or
know
something.
you're on the plane for the past 10 hours, but can you sit for another?
Can you sit in my
Something
car
with you
for
and
an hour or
parking
two?
tickets or parking lots or something like.
Yeah.
This is just.
I'm
This is what
cursed.
it's like to live with Lucas.
Yeah. Everywhere we went, I was like, I need you to hold this because I'm going to lose it. If you don't hold this card, I'm going to lose it. It's not going to be good.
It's gonna
Yeah.
be all your fault.
Yep, that's right. We
This is
blamed everything
your
on
fault.
Patrick when it went wrong, and it was pretty right most of the time.
Mhm.
But it was an adventure. Every day, Patrick got a new passion fruit, something, maracuja, ice cream, maracuja, juice fresh from the fruit. You got all kinds of different ones. He loved it. He was loving the fruit juice. He was the fruit juice man.
Well, yeah, and it was I didn't know anything about the Brazilian food and drink and all that stuff. And Lucas was like, "What do you want to do?" I was like, "I'm a big juice guy." And he's like, "You're in luck because that's all we do here in Brazil is make
That's
juice."
all we have.
That's all we got is juice.
I mean, it was like you go to the supermarket and it's all juice, all of it. You know, like 45 rows of just juice. That's what it
Yeah.
felt like to me. And that's what it was. We went to a couple places and they have like you go to American restaurants, so like you have lemonade, you have strawberry lemonade, you have limeade, that's pretty much all you're gonna get. Here they have like a whole section of juice every place you go, and I'm like,
So now we know where
I want to live.
Now we know
for
where
juice.
the cereal budget went.
Exactly. That's what I was just
Oh,
going to say.
yes.
You guys
Yeah,
have your cereal aisle. We have our juice aisle.
Yeah, there's like we went to the supermarket and there's like all these things for juice, and then we went down the cereal aisle. It's like Flakes, Bran, and that's it.
And Flakes brand. You got your Flakes, you got your brand, you got your Flakes brand. The end.
Yeah.
Chocolate Flakes brand.
I was like, man, that's pretty abysmal.
You should have brought some
Yeah.
cereal with you.
But yeah, because of that, we had zero cereal. I had zero cereal while I was there.
Yeah, there was no. I got some Cheerios just in case, but
I totally
was-
forgot you bought those. Yeah.
and I mean, you had the coffee. That's all you needed. It was
Mhm.
like our daily ritual, just to have some coffee or caffee, depending
And
on
the
what part of the
Brazilian
day.
coffee was really good. I didn't need to add anything to it. It was
Nice.
very tasty, the way it was.
Mhm.
And then Lucas added his own flair to it, and he adds cinnamon to his
Yeah.
coffee, which I've never added to my coffee before. But now I'm going to add it every single time I have coffee.
Mm.
It's
Everything.
fantastic.
Wow.
It's my first cup of coffee when I came back home. I was like, Mel, do we have cinnamon? She's like, yeah. I was like, all right,
All right.
not the same, but
Nice.
it was still good.
Not same. Still good though.
Yeah.
Still tasty. Yeah. We had some fun adventures. We went to the first night we were here, we went to a pizza place where it's called a rodizio, which pretty much means you sit at the table and people, waiters, garçons, whatever, will come around and just offer you food. And this was a pizza place, so they just offer you different types of pizza. And
Yeah, what was that, like 32 different types of pizza that
Oh
they
my
had here?
gosh.
yeah, something like that. It's quite the variety.
There's just no limit to the amount of pizza that you could have.
No, you can have as
Nope,
much as
no
you want.
limit.
See, we couldn't even have that in America. People would just die in there.
Yep.
Yeah. They would die,
Yeah.
just be dead. But yeah, and that's when he first had his heavenly experience with molde da casa. And it was a type of pizza that I wish I would have filmed Patrick tasting, because as soon as he took a bite, he just stopped everything and he was like, Oh my gosh.
You could hear like the
Eyes-
heavens.
What is this?
Open. The angels are singing, and
It really was. I need to figure out how to replicate this pizza because arguably one of the best pieces of pizza I've ever had.
How do you not know? You got to see it made, which was a new experience. I've been to this pizza place multiple times, and I've never had this experience. While we were sitting there, the host, he would come talk to us every now and again. He'd be like, "Hey, what kind of pizza do you want?" And I would just throw out a flavor and he'd be like, "Got you covered." And he'd get it for us. And at the end, or like 2/3 of the way through, he was talking to Patrick in Portuguese and I was translating. And he was like, "Have you ever seen a Brazilian pizza made?" And Patrick's like, "No, I'm just, is it that different?" Like they were talking back and forth. He's like, "You need to see it. You know what? When you're ready, I'm going to take you to the back. We're going to show you how it's made."
oh snap!
And we're like, "Yeah, okay."
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, he's just being nice." And so I told Patrick what he said, and we got to the end, and he's like, "Are you ready?" And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Are
No
you
way.
ready to go see how the pizza's made?" And I'm like, "Patrick, he wants to take us back and really show us the back kitchen." So we get to go back and we get to see how it's made. Like we see the whole setup,
Sweet.
the whole shebang, how the dough's made, how everything.
There's like I don't know 12 to 15 waiters just walking around this restaurant, and you go back into the kitchen and there's another 12
Seems like a
to
storm
15
of people.
people
It was a
back
storm
there,
of people.
just making pizzas. They all have their own stations. And
Are they flinging them up in the air and stuff?
No, unfortunately, no. They had a
That would be
machine
cool,
that
though.
did it for them.
Yeah, they had a machine. It was cheating,
Yeah.
but it still was cool.
Yeah.
Modern way to do it.
Rip
Yeah, that was really
off.
neat. They're like, we got an American gringo in here. Let's show them how the
Gringo.
real pizza's made.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you, Pat. So how was it to be in a country where basically nobody's speaking English? I mean, I would assume there were a few people. But how was that different? Because I've never experienced that myself.
So Lucas and I had this conversation many of times while we were there. I've had several years of Spanish schooling, and both in high school and in college. There's a lot of similarities in Portuguese, so I can understand to an extent of if they're talking slow enough and if only one person is talking,
Like keywords and stuff.
keywords, and if what their mannerisms, how they're talking with their hands and things like that, it really does help. There's very, very close similarities in words, so I can probably catch maybe one word every 5 words, every 10 words, and I can kind of get the gist of what they're trying to say or what they're saying. And just like it is a definite culture shock where after a few days, I'm starting to pick up on things a little bit more because, I haven't spoken Spanish or been around like just Spanish classrooms and things like that, where you have to speak Spanish, because when you're in it and that's all that they speak, you kind of start to pick up on things. And then I would ask Lucas every time we had a conversation, I was like, "How do you say this?" or "What are you saying?" And so I would pick up more words every single day. So it was difficult. I had to have Lucas translate on almost every conversation because I couldn't understand it.
It was funny. A few times he would be paying for something or we would be somewhere and he would just talk to the lady or the waiter in English. And then they would look at me like, "What did he just say to me?"
Well, okay. So I could go up to them and I could say, "Oh, hola, tudo bem?" It's like, "Hey, how's it going?" And then it's like, "Hey, I'm trying to be nice and speak the local tongue," things like that. But if I do that, they're like, "Oh, you speak Portuguese. I'm going to speak Portuguese back to you." I'm like, no.
Whoa,
That's all I
hit you with-
that's all
That's
all
as
I
far
can
as
do
I
right
know.
now.
Yeah, you're going too fast. Slow it
Yeah,
down.
I'm like, because we went to a store and I bought some flip-flops. And the person started talking Portuguese with me. I was like, and Lucas is like on the other side of the store. I'm like, "Hey, Lucas, can you come over here? I need some help."
It was early. I was like trying to throw him into the deep end of the pool. I was like, "Let's see what he does. See what happens."
And you
I
did
thought
it
it was just like,
disappoint.
I give you my credit card. Just don't talk to me. Just take it, push it
Just
in,
take
and then
it.
give it back to me.
You ever see the Family Guy skit where they're like, he's like, "Oh, thank God you speak English," and he's like, "Nope, just that sentence and this sentence explaining it." That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other moment we had that was truly an adventure is when we rode the subway and went to the Mercadon, or the big market. And the adventure actually happened in between, when we were walking through probably the busiest part of town, in the busiest area that we've walked in. Patrick and I were walking. I was walking pretty briskly, as I tend to do, and Patrick's like trying to look around. And there's a few times I look back, I was like, oh, I better slow down.
I'm like
I'm gonna
looking
lose
at all
Patrick.
these stores and all the, like on the streets, people have like microphones. They're trying to sell things. They have like, if they have a baseball or some sort of throwing device, so they're just throwing it, and it's like it is a
like
show.
a big farmer's market.
Yeah,
but it was more modern. Yeah. It was like shoes and clothes and burnt DVDs. Burnt PS2 games, illegally pirated bootlegs.
Like New York, yeah.
This was a more commercial
it was a show,
part
and
of town.
I was like taking in all the sights, and then I'm like, Lucas, where'd you go? Like, he's like 40 feet ahead of me. He's like, oh,
I wasn't that.
He's
far.
like, I live here. I do this every day.
Yeah, this is normal. And at one point, I pointed out to Patrick that the policemen here, they wear like almost like deli or diner hats. I don't know how else to describe them, but
I mean, like one of those like old school steak and shake hats.
Yes, with the little
100%.
like where it goes thin at the top.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's what the cop hats are here. I don't know who decided.
That's the best thing I've learned so far.
Just imagine walking up to a police officer like, I'd like a milkshake, sir.
Yeah, can I get a chocolate milkshake? Yeah, so he wanted. I wanted to. I kept saying, hey, let's get your picture with the police and try to get a picture so he could get a picture of their hats. And he gets out his phone to take a picture. And I think you took the picture, right?
I did. Yep. I took it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then as soon as he took the picture, he put it in his pocket, and then he turned around and looked at me, and his eyes were like super wide. And I can't remember if you told me or if you just ran past me, but you're like, I think I heard you say, I dropped my wallet. And all of a sudden my heart stopped. And I was like, oh, it's gone. There's no, you drop your wallet. It doesn't hit the ground. Like somebody sees it and they're like,
somebody's there just to scoop it up.
Exactly. This is the streets of Brazil. You don't drop your wallet. You forfeit it to a stranger. Like that's how it works.
Sorry.
So Patrick runs behind me, and I don't even try to look with him. I'm just like, it's gone. Like there's no way he's gonna find it. But he looks down, and like it was like 10 feet behind us or whatever. It took him less than just a few seconds, and it was sitting there, just sitting there. And I was like, that's a miracle. Like it was a miracle that his wallet was not grabbed, because dang, I could
not calm down for like the next 16 hours.
Yeah,
because I'm like, because it was like the day before going back to the States, and I'm like, well, if I lose my, it's like all these things I was thinking. It felt like it was longer than 5 seconds. It probably only lasted 5 seconds, but it felt like so much longer, because I was like, oh no, what's gonna happen if I lose my wallet? Then I'm never gonna get back to the States. Like my license is in there, my COVID vaccine card is in there, all that's gone. But no, it was still sitting there unbelievably. And it's like, it's a very thin wallet. I don't have a lot of things in it, so it's not like it like stood out. So I don't know if people were just walking by that didn't even notice it, because people are looking at like all the stores and things that are happening, not often, or on their phones. They're not looking at the ground. So hopefully that was like, I guess, my saving grace, that no one saw that it happened. And it was such a short time frame that only maybe, I don't know, 15, 20 people would have walked past it.
So is there ever a scenario, Lucas, where it's like, so like here, a lot of times, like if you drop your wallet at a store, a lot of times people actually like just turn it in. I'm sure that's not the case.
It has happened. I have heard of like, it's depending on the neighborhood you're in. Where we were, there is very unlikely someone was gonna be like, oh hey, I found this. No, it's just, there's so much hubbub. There's too much, like it's too easy to just grab it and go. Like no one's gonna find you. Like if I find a wallet,
I'm just gonna give it to like the customer service area or whatever.
Right.
I mean, I'll check it for cash first to see what the decision is that I have to make.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to know like what you're forfeiting. at least.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's finder's fee. So
That's
you got to
finder's
take
fee.
your
20
finder's
out of
fee.
there.
Good to know.
Yeah, exactly. But
Good to know
yeah,
that
so
Brazil is like the one place where the 5-second rule applies to your personal.
that is
belongings.
correct. Brazilians
doesn't
are
even hit the floor.
opportunistic. The nice way to say it is they're very opportunistic.
That is a very
when-
generous title for that.
Yeah, when they're given the chance, they'll take the chance. So, Patrick, did you want to share any more adventures from Brazil? I do want to open up the floor, of course, to Ronnie and Marc. Any adventures you guys wanted to share? Obviously not in Brazil, but in other areas of life that you've, enjoyed or
Oh no, I was there with you the whole time.
excursions. Yeah. Oh, I thought I felt your presence.
Yeah.
I could hear.
One last thing is I met Rayla.
You did.
Yeah. So I got there and she was barking her brains out at me when I first got there.
Pretty much.
Like,
She wanted to
who
eat
is
you.
this other white guy?
Who's
I don't
this
know.
pale
his
face
sense.
guy.
Yeah. Like, what is happening? Like, and so
There's only room for one pale-faced guy here.
Yeah.
We don't need two.
Exactly.
and then Lucas busts
Who are
out
these
like
people?
a muzzle and puts the muzzle on her, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the most vicious dog I've ever seen. This is like
the Hannibal Lecter of
I'm-
dogs.
I'm never
Yeah.
gonna be able to be near this dog.
Ava
No,
beans.
absolutely no way. And so he had like a trainer come, and the trainer's like, and just both Lucas and the trainer were like, don't look at the dog in its eyes. Like, I was like, what? I can't even look at this dog. So like a couple
Look up
days
at the
go
sky.
by, just like not paying attention to this dog, like just go nonchalantly about my day. And like, it's like, all right, hey, for now, just walk around the dog, but talk to James. And like, when you have to have a conversation with a 9-year-old, I'm like, what do we, it's like, what do we talk about? It's like one of those,
How
like,
about the
scenes.
weather?
It's like, oh,
You have a
like,
7-year-old. You know you
So,
just
uh,
talk
you
about
have-
poop.
you have
You talk
like-
about pee.
you have a
You
shirt
talk
on.
about
It's like,
mud.
but when you're made to like, hey, I'm like, oh,
No,
I don't
you're
know,
right.
What are we supposed to? Like, you have a shirt on, you have shorts on. How's it going? Like,
Did you-
I
did
don't
you
know what
brush
to
your
do with
teeth
my
today?
hands.
Minecraft.
Yeah. So when you're put on the spot to do that, so we did that, and then I did that for a little bit, and then I got to. Then I walked her around. I gave her treats. Gave her commands, and I think after 2 days,
Yeah,
the
it's
trainer
after 3
trainer
days.
was like, "Hey, you can take the muzzle off when you're ready, but know that Rail is ready. Don't think that Rail is ready. Know that she's ready." And then when he took the muzzle off, like, I didn't tell Lucas this, but like, this is probably one of the scariest moments of my life when he's like taking a muzzle off a German Shepherd. I'm like, oh, I'm dead. I'm gonna die right now. And she didn't. She came up and licked me and was happy being around me. So I like, huge weight was lifted off when that happened.
How would she have been if he like didn't go through all that and just wanted to like try and be friends with her at the beginning? Just
I
out
would
of
not be here
curiosity?
tonight.
No, she to this point, she's
Because I refuse for dogs to not be my friend. Like, I am not about
Right.
that life.
You're like
I'm ready
you're
to
like
be. I'm ready
you're
to
like
be eaten.
Elf with the raccoon. You're
Yeah,
like
man, I'm ready to be eaten
someone
alive.
needs a hug. Just puts your arms out. I don't really know 100% what she would do. I know that there were a couple times when she was younger, like I told you guys, she lunged at my landlord. She lunged at another guy. Oh, she bit my landlord's jacket, which could have been his body for all.
That'll teach you.
Yeah. But for the most part, like she's very guarded. She's very protective.
Yeah, they are
She's
very protective.
not
dogs.
trusting. She's not trusting of anyone at the beginning. And
Well, I mean, after we're hearing about the wallet scenario, probably a good idea.
I mean, hey, she knows how it works on the streets.
The key
But
is, Patrick, just protect your face. That's the key.
Yeah, just
Arm,
protect your
just
face.
Go ahead and jam an arm in if you're gonna get bit. Like, just not your face.
Not the face, not the.
So
not
my dad
ears.
has like three. They have 3 German Shepherds. So as you can imagine, like it's a very rowdy bunch. Like they're
Oh,
all
yeah.
big. Like German Shepherds in general, honestly, are just like on the scale of terrifying. Like they're pretty high up, only
Yeah.
because like our police use them to track down criminals. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like they are pretty. They can be
Yeah.
vicious.
They're actually
they're
considered more
gazelles.
bite. Yeah, they're fast.
They're big,
fast.
too.
They're
Yeah.
lions as well. They're lions
Yeah.
that are gazelles because they're quick.
Yeah. So I think she would have barked a lot more. She only barked at that beginning part, and then when we kind of, we had the muzzle on her and let Patrick walk her, and once she had kind of gotten over that initial, okay, you're not that bad. She only barked at him. I think like there was one time I did take the muzzle off, and she, it was one of the earlier times I took it off, but Patrick like totally ignored her, and she like kind of circled him a couple times barking. But she's not old enough yet to where I was
if
like,
I had to pee, I would have peed my pants.
Just don't look at her or you're dead.
Yeah,
no eye contact.
Don't look into her soul.
But it's interesting. Like you don't look at her, she won't do anything. But I don't really know if someone would look at her and try to approach her, she might get physical. Like she might bite, whatever. Thankfully, to this point, she hasn't had that happen.
I've been bit by a dog in the past. That was he didn't like people to be. It was a guy I used to work with, a couple of our friends, and the dog was really protective of them.
Yeah.
Just kind of standing in between us and them, and he didn't want people to come into the house clearly. And we came into the house, and I just like immediately, like my first thing was like I got down on my knee.
Oh,
which like as soon as I got down there, I was like, huge mistake. He's gonna bite me for sure. And turns out he did bite me, but it was just in the thumb. Like I don't care how fast the dog is, like you're not going to beat me to my face. Like my hand's going to be there first.
Yeah.
But it does. Some of them do get really protective. Especially with their family. That's just kind of how they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's true. But by the end, Patrick was family. Like Rayla would just run and jump and play, and
then you got to see the good friendly part.
Yeah,
insider Rayla.
Yeah,
and then you left.
Rayla. Yeah, and then you abandoned her. And
You
she'll
know
never
what?
forgive you.
I even thought about that. I said bye to the entire family. I don't think I said bye to Rayla, which is
Man, what a jerk.
Yep,
She's
you
brought it
are
up a couple
on the
times.
list
She's
now.
very bitter.
Yep, I know.
Way to go.
Right.
Way to go.
I'll add that as far as adventures go, I don't really have anything that I really want to share other than the fact that I kind of feel like I'm on a little bit of an adventure right now in my life.
Yeah.
After the whole move, like the apartment, it's a temporary thing. So it really does feel like just kind of this little mini adventure, kind of the precursor to bigger and better things.
Yeah. Sweet deal. We said adventures big or small. So
this is a small adventure for a bigger adventure later.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a pre-adventure.
Exactly. It's a pre-venture.
Pre-venture.
I like it.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I think the big adventures for me is like I've never grown up in like a huge city type of area. I've been to cities before, like I've been to Boston and things like that. But like there's Boston, and then there's New York City. New York City's like next level type stuff, and just the whole experience of like seeing all of these things that I had seen on TV and in pictures and stuff like that when I was a kid, and being able to like experience them up close and things like that, and to just get a taste of just how crazy this city is, and how busy it is. Like when they say it's the city that never sleeps, like they're not kidding.
Mm-mm.
Like there's always people moving on the streets, and we had to adjust to just trying to get around people because there's so many people around, and you're trying to move, and everyone and their mother uses their horn that when they're driving. Like it was funny, we were stopped at a don't walk sign or whatever, and these two guys were driving, and the dude was like laying on the horn, and one of these other guys that was standing there at the stop, at the stop walk or whatever, at the don't walk sign, they're like, "Did you see that? He actually made him move. Look at that. That did something."
Oh yeah.
Right.
which
Oh, yeah.
means like no, that never
No,
happens.
it never does anything. Yeah, we have that happen pretty much every day. Like, and it's always like the seventh guy back,
Yeah.
and the lights just changed, and they honk at you like, "Go!" And it's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Did I make you wait a little too long?
Yeah.
Because you made it happen."
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, just the chance to take in all the sights and sounds of New York City and experience all of that, and a lot of it we did on foot. Like I've walked from Upper to Lower Manhattan.
Nice.
That is it's a pretty hefty walk.
Yeah.
But yeah, just getting to experience a little taste of city life was such a fun experience, and I can't wait until we get to do it again and get to experience more things. And thankfully we didn't like get mugged or anything like that. I did not drop my wallet.
It's good. It's good.
Good step.
Yep. But no, it was an absolute great time. Driving in New York City is pretty scary too. Like, thankfully I was not the one behind the wheel, but we took an Uber, and man, like to get anywhere, you have to be absolutely cutthroat and
To be like a professional race car driver, I feel
basically,
like people are
yes.
just grinding like the sides of their cars on each other. Like
Yeah.
in New York, it's craziness.
Yeah. And again, honking your horn is like saying hello to people there.
That is correct.
So,
Same here in Sao Paulo.
Yeah.
Patrick got to experience a little bit of that.
I experienced Sao Paulo traffic firsthand. Probably half of the traffic is motorcyclists, and motorcyclists have their own lane. It's called the entire freeway.
It's called, if it's concrete, they can drive on it.
Yeah, they are
This is
just
like I'm just picturing
weaving.
Mad Max.
It is. It's just like Mad Max Thunderdome. Like they line up at the lights, and just the lights. Actually, they don't even
Everybody's got
stop the
weapons.
lights. They don't line up.
Walking
Yeah.
around in the market area. Is that Mel Gibson? Yep.
Yep. I see him every Tuesday.
Yeah, Lucas was like, "Hey, you want to drive?" I was like, "Not a chance."
Every day,
There's
I gave him
no
a chance to
way.
drive. Missed opportunity.
Never gonna.
Yeah,
I was like,
I wouldn't have driven either.
I would have wrecked into so many motorcyclists. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Am I gonna go to jail for any of these? Because I feel like I didn't want to take that chance at all.
Yeah, I tried to
And
get him to
Lucas
give.
was a professional NASCAR driver with him, like just
Yeah.
like changing lanes and not being not hitting motorcyclists. I'm like, wow, how are you not hitting? Like, you have to like look at all your mirrors before you switch lanes. You have to, because you're gonna get run over, or you're gonna kill.
Or you're going to run over someone. Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, not a chance.
Yeah,
I would drive.
There were a couple times I think I made Pat's heart stop, like in a move I would make or something I would do. I was like,
And
sorry
I'm
about
quickly
that.
looking behind. I'm like, were there any other?
what-
How did you not hit that guy?
Turns to you is like, but did you die though?
Yeah, no blood, no foul, no death.
I always
no
had to
foul.
make sure before I opened my door, wherever we parked, I'm like, am I gonna like all of a sudden open my door and then
You
this
clipped.
motorcyclist just like runs
just
into and
clip him.
takes off his door? I'm like, I don't want that to
Hey,
happen.
Lucas, your car's a Jeep now.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't need that door. It's overrated for sure. All right. Bernabe El Ronchas Butters had this to say. So sit tight, as he said. This is a long one.
Yeah,
He went on an adventure back in college. One afternoon with the friends, we were bored and decided to start a ball hockey league in Monterrey, Mexico. We had a couple of Canadian friends doing a semester there and found a couple of teachers in a Canadian school in the city. All in all, we had enough people for 4 teams. We played every Saturday for a couple months. One day in a different afternoon, somebody mentioned there's a World Cup championship held every year for this sport. The next year was supposed to be in Dusseldorf, Germany. And we,
Wait a minute,
of
which
course,
sport is this? I think I missed that part.
this is called Ball Hockey League. It's pretty much just street hockey, I think. I don't know. It's
Like
hockey
in
with
the
a
Mighty
ball,
Ducks,
not
like
on the
early
ice.
on before they get on the ice, they're just in the streets with the ball.
Like where they're using the inline skates.
Yep.
Apparently, there's a professional one,
Sweet.
a world championship of sorts. They submitted their application, but as a joke, and they were accepted.
Wow.
And we were qualified because there was no other team in Mexico that applied. We contacted the Mexican government sports branch and asked if we could have sponsorship and use the Mexican colors. And after a few calls and meetings, we were sponsored with uniforms, airplane, and hotel tickets.
That's sweet.
And that is how I ended up backpacking through Europe for a month after being the goalie for the Mexican ball hockey national team.
No way. No way. That's
I can't. This is unbelievable.
That
As you
is
may
awesome.
expect, we ended up in last place, but it was a blast.
I bet. Yeah.
As you can imagine, there are a few stories from the European adventure. These are pretty much the summary of the highlights. There was a time we pretended we were locals in Spain. There was a time we decided to take a train to the airport in Rome at 2 a.m. There is no train terminal at the airport in Rome.
Oops.
Does that
Not
mean
sure
you just
how
have
that
to
works.
jump off the train?
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
It's all right.
Tuck and roll.
Tuck and roll.
I want to hear more. There was the time we got lost in Glasgow after a football match wearing the wrong team's t-shirts.
Ooh, you get shot. For
Yeah, you can get beat up.
Mm-hmm.
There was a time we hopped onto the wrong train in Germany and also almost ended up in jail. The time we discovered there is still
That's a bit of a hop, skip, and a jump there.
that's what he said. Yada yada yada. Almost ended up in jail.
We hopped on the wrong train, stole it, and then almost went rather than jump.
Yeah. I think he left out the part where they stole it.
Yeah, like we kicked the engineer out.
The one where we discovered there's still daylight in Germany at 10 p.m. during the summer.
No way.
Interesting.
The time we discovered a mile-long corridor of bars that gave free beer samples.
Oh no, that's dangerous.
Oh yeah,
1
in Germany.
Oh man, by the end of that mile, you'd be wrecked.
Yeah, you would be wrecked for sure.
Actually, like German beer.
It's like candy. They give it out like
It's like
candy.
the room temperature is designed just to mess your day up.
That is correct. The time we found the only pizzeria in walking distance from our hotel and ordered 15 pizzas. The time we went to McDonald's in Germany for the €1 menu and ordered 37 cheeseburgers, all in coins.
I need to go on a trip with Bernabe.
This is more than
seriously.
I've done in my whole life.
Why is this not a movie?
Yeah. I know, right?
This is like Euro Trip 2 or something.
Yeah.
Trip too.
The time we got lost in the Colosseum because we took the tour in Italian. How hard could it be?
That hard.
This is awesome.
Yeah. The time we got kicked out of the Vatican because we were wearing shorts. The time we were kicked out of the Fontana di Trevi because a friend whom may have been drunk was washing his feet at the fountain.
Oh no.
Good
and then
times.
finally,
Wow.
the time a French waiter cursed us out because we left a tip. Do not tip in France.
Why?
Yeah, some cultures you don't tip because it's seen as demeaning. Like, oh, we're above you. Here is some spare change for your work. Yeah, in some cultures they get paid pretty decently or get paid the minimum wage, and to go.
Don't you
above
think that
and
somebody in
beyond
France
can be
would know
frowned
that?
upon.
Like, don't you think somebody in France would know like in the United States, like that's like a
You would think
gratuitous
nowadays,
thing, like, you know
but
what I
this
mean?
is-
Like,
I mean, Bernabe is not. He's not a spring chicken. This is when he was in college. So at this point, it was a little bit back in the day, back in the early 2000s or so when he was in college, I would guess, or maybe late mid-aughts. I don't know. Whenever it was, I shouldn't presume his age. I know I'm older, so yeah. Bernabe, I totally connect with many of the things you were mentioning, especially the sun going down real late. When I went to Poland during a summer trip with my family, I kid you not, the sun did not go down till about 11:30, and it rose at 3 a.m.
Oh, gross.
It was gross. Like, I never got over the jet lag. The time difference messed me up. I never got good sleep. And to top it all off, when we would, because there's no escaping the sun. Like, they left their windows open all the time, and so darkness never came. And the neighbor, he definitely liked to mow his lawn in his underwear.
Gross.
Like tidy
What?
whities mowing his lawn. Yeah. And we saw him a number of times taking care of his lawn while wearing tidy whities. It was
So
special.
if you ever go back there, pack some blackout curtains.
For sure. For sure. You go to like Eastern European countries or some of the more northern ones during the summer, just the sun hardly goes down. It's ridiculous. It's super bright all the time.
Nasty.
Yeah. And I definitely discovered the fun of traveling to and from the Roman airport, the airport in Rome. We got a let's see, we got a bus. We caught a bus, I think the last bus from the Rome airport to Vatican City. And I think we got to Vatican City Sunday night. I guess it would have been Sunday to Monday around midnight. And they dropped us off at the train station, and the trains were not running. The taxis had all gone. And like when we got dropped off, our bus just automatically took off and everybody dispersed. And Mindy and I looked at each other. This is our second honeymoon, by the way. We kind of looked at each other and we were like, what do we do now? And I'm like, I did not plan this part of the trip. I got us here. I booked our hotel. We had a hotel, but how to get to it, I was like, I did not plan this. Oops. And all of a sudden, this slick guy with a tie and like tied back hair was just like, hello, Americans. Let me help you find a ride. Can I help you? Where are you trying to get to? And I'm like, oh my gosh, what have we done? What have we gotten ourselves into? We're about to get robbed and mugged and our bodies dumped somewhere off the side in Vatican City. And this guy literally just waved at a car off down the street, off in the shadows. And this car came up, drove up, took our bags, put it in the back. And then the guy's like, my friend here's going to take you. You pay me now, and then my friend will take you to your hotel. And I'm like, all right, well, you're my only option. So here we go. Paid him, got in the car. This guy did not speak a lick of English. And the city was completely black. Like there were hardly any lights on the streets. And I was like, this is it. This is the end.
Oh my gosh.
This is how scary movies and thrillers start.
Yeah. And it was the longest 15 minutes of my life. Like we kept hitting these switchbacks and I'm like, this is where he pulls into the alleyway and there's like a group of people waiting to mug us, take our stuff. Yeah. And he took us to our hotel and we survived. And I was like, never doing that again.
That could have went a whole different way.
Yeah. Could have gone a whole bunch of different ways.
Wow.
But we had our best and worst times in Rome. Like the next week we missed our bus to the Rome airport. And so we had to get like $100 taxi ride. It was not fun when you're newly married and you had spent most of your money on the honeymoon. So yeah, good times. Great oldies. All right. We do have just a couple more that I'm going to throw out here real quick from our joiners. Unsorted dad jokes. Travis Popsicle, he said, my favorite adventures are with the wife and kids. Just chasing down some hidden waterfall and taking a hike. With 7 kids between us, we had to choose less expensive adventures most of the time. Camping, hikes, the park, etc. Now that the kids are older and mostly on their own, one of my favorite go-tos is using the bird scooters that the city did last year. They go 25 miles per hour and you can race them anywhere in the city. So we haul butt for a while and then grab ice cream or something. Then when we're done, we just leave the scooters wherever for the next people.
Those are awesome. They
That's
have
really
those
cool.
In when we went to DC, they have those in that area. And yeah, you just pay for it with the app and pick whichever one is available and take it and you go. It unlocks and you go. Pretty sweet.
Pretty sweet. Yeah, we have those actually here in Sao Paulo, but the weather did not permit for Patrick and I to do a lot of that bike riding, scootering, walking around the city, because every time we wanted to walk somewhere, the rain poured down. It was crazy. And of course we were like, oh no, we're gonna have to stay in the house and play video games.
Oh no, what are we ever going to do?
That's the worst. I'm so sad. That's exactly how we said it too when we were saying it. All right. 1 second.
1 second.
One more joiner. All right.
Yeah.
Stalling.
Oh, stalling. Oh, no, I didn't click the right button.
No, stalling more.
Splig at Dopalicious had this to say. I was about to enjoy a nice dinner by myself when an old friend knocked on the door. We caught up for a bit, and then apparently he had already invited 13 more friends over, and we ended up going on a long hike. But overall, it was a grand adventure. Ha, 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 Splig. That's the Hobbit.
Yeah. I was like, that sounds totally familiar.
Totally made up. But we appreciate it. 10 out of 10 for that.
Rip-off.
He said, smaller adventure. I snuck out onto Florida Field one late night with some friends and played tackle football, except they just had painted and fertilized the field. So hitting the ground was like coarse orange and blue sandpaper and ruined my shirt.
Dang.
That's his adventure.
Dang.
Ruined my shirt. He said hashtag worth it, though. That actually reminds me of, I remember one winter, I think it was my senior year in high school. We'd gotten like 1.5 feet of snow, and me and a few guys, we went to a nearby park, and we just played football without a football and just hit each other into the snow. And it was really fun. Like, we had snow gear on, and when you would hit someone and just land in the snow, it was like landing on pillows. It was pretty cool. One of the guys was a lineman for our high school football team, and I didn't really want to get hit by him, so I very much avoided him most of the time. And he was like,
Good choice.
Lucas, you're pretty fast. And I'm like, yeah, because you're really big and I don't want to get hit really hard. So but it was pretty fun. It's pretty fun.
Nice.
Indeed. All right. That is all that the joiners had to say. Do you guys have any other last minute adventures you want to share?
We
Going
have
once,
a
going
new
twice.
This is a fresh house cat
Ooh.
now.
Hey.
This is
Hey,
Willow.
fresh
She
house
was
cat.
the outside
Is that
girl.
Willow? I
Yeah.
could tell by the way you're holding her. I'm like, that's your cat, isn't it? If it was
Yeah,
the other
she's-
cat,
she's my baby.
you'd just be holding her up by the skin. You'd be like, here,
Yeah.
here's Alita the demon.
No, Alita's not gonna come sit in here with me.
No,
She's in there
Hi,
with her
Willow.
mom right now. Her person.
Willow looks like a cutie.
She is a sweetheart.
Rayla would love to play with her in our front yard.
That doesn't sound safe.
It wouldn't be
I don't
safe.
think I'd put her in the same yard with Hannibal Lecter.
Yep, Rayla would eat Hannibal just like fava beans.
And a nice Chianti.
Yes. All right. Well, that's all for adventure. As is tradition, some housekeeping where we offer towels, fluff pillows, topped with Andy's candies, and tip you off to the GMG news you need to know. The GMG Street Team is, of course, offering content and conversation Sunday to Saturday on Twitch. Check out Chris as he continues playing Horizon Forbidden West. Marc continues the old Zelda games, and then myself, I'm playing a potpourri of games, currently focusing on Horizon Forbidden West as well, and then other random games. So feel free to check us out, twitch.tv. Links are in the show notes. If you're not into streaming or watching it, of course, you'd rather tweet on Twitter, discourse on Discord. You can find the links in the show notes for that and hang out with us there. If you are the giving type, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, and Spotify. It helps us reach new joiners. Whether you want to give us stars, exclamation marks, feedback, or an encouraging word, we hope you'll let your voice be heard. Speaking of what should be heard, we have our final songs for the GMG MAST 60 list for the Good Morning Guys Music and Songs Top 60 list. We are not retconning the number whatsoever. It's always been that GMG MAST half mast 60. Guys, let's throw out our picks. Let us know what you want to share. Ronnie.
All right, I'm gonna share Over the Rainbow, and I'm gonna say by it's Israel.
Can you do
Come
it?
something
Wakalakamukas?
Shioli Ali. I don't know.
Yikes.
Little bada bing bong.
Yeah,
Yep,
that's
that was
a lot.
close.
I'd
a
have to have
lot.
it in front of me to even be somewhere in the ballpark.
Yeah, he's just is.
He's yeah.
So interesting thing about this one is that Ish decided to show up at about 3 a.m. For a recording session. He had 15 minutes to get to the session. He showed up, got his stuff ready. First take, recorded this song. He recorded "Somewhere Over the Rainbow." It's actually a medley with "What a Wonderful World," Louis Armstrong's "What a Wonderful World,"
Mm-hmm.
and recorded it in one take. And that is the song that you hear today.
Nice. Patrick.
Yes. I'm going to go with Katy Perry, Firework.
Baby, you're a fire. Trying to get it pulled up. Stalling for
The
time.
Madagascar 3 song.
No, it's the interview with that Spider-Man 3 villain and the cop from Ant-Man.
Where did it go?
Nope.
Uh-oh. Did we lose Ronnie?
No. Ronnie, come
That's
back. Ronnie's gone, man. He was like, no, I don't. He didn't like my song choice.
Nope. He was not a fan. He did warn us in the chat that he was going to ditch.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He wasn't feeling
he
too
did.
well.
Ronnie, we love you.
Oh, gotcha.
Miss you already.
Yeah.
He did give us the peace sign too.
Here,
It was just like the GIF. He was just like, and then he disappeared.
I'm going to try to fix this.
You got to fix it.
Is it really worth fixing? Just give the songs. Come on, let's go. My song is "A Bridge Over Troubled Water" by Michael W. Smith.
Hey, I didn't get to give Patrick's fact.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
yeah.
I know you're in a hurry,
gracious.
but come on
Over. Stop stepping on my toes. I need my show.
Toes, step.
The song Firework is submitted as 12 times platinum in terms of a single.
Wait, is
Wow.
that what's the most a song has ever platinumed?
That is a good question.
I will. You leave it up to a little bit later, but
Yep.
come back to it.
Sure.
Yep. 12 times platinum. What is that? What does platinum even mean?
So 12 times platinum. Let me see.
Like
I want to say
Too many
platinum.
questions. Too many questions.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I wasn't ready for any of this.
Oh wow. 12 times platinum. But yes,
That
what does
sounds so
mean?
impressive. I don't know what it means, but
Yeah,
cool.
I know. Wow, congratulations, Katie.
So platinum album is 1 million units sold. So 12.
That's a
12
lot of
million.
fireworks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So there you go.
Sweet.
There you go.
And then,
12 million fireworks sold.
Do you ever feel like a plastic bag?
No,
Drifting
Okay.
through the wind.
that's weird.
Wanting to start again.
That is how it goes. All right, Lucas, what is what
Bridge
is-
Over Troubled Water, Michael W. Smith, cover of the Simon and Garfunkel classic.
Yes,
It's a good one. Solid.
So
How many platinums did that get, huh? Suck.
Threve.
that's a good question. It doesn't say.
Probably
but
like 85.
It
Niner.
topped the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 chart for 6 weeks, and reached
Yeah,
number one
in your
the United
face,
Kingdom,
Katy
Canada,
Perry.
France, and New Zealand. It sold
And
over
Antarctica.
6 million. So, unfortunately, Katy
Ooh.
Perry had you beat there.
It's not
Wasn't-
it's not three. It's have. Sorry.
To have a Threve.
Math.
All right. And
All right.
None of that. No more.
the big thing
We're
is, it
moving
was
on.
We're trailing here.
one of the most performed songs of the 20th century. It was performed by over 50 artists, including Elvis Presley, Aretha Franklin, and Johnny Cash.
Ooh.
Mm.
We should just put all those covers on the list. So we hear it 50 times. Over 50 times.
Yeah, so guys, this was kind
Yeah.
of dragging out and things were falling behind with it. So we're like, yep, we're going to cut it off at 60.
Top 60. Woo. All right.
So-
What's your
I like
song,
it.
Marcus? With a Z?
So
Carcass.
my song is the Beatles, Hey Jude.
Oh, nice. I do like so with Hey Jude, like I changed the words to that song with Mel. So it's it's a great song. Love it. I'm glad it's on the GM.
What do you say? Hey who?
Did you say
Hey,
Hey
Mel?
Mel?
Yeah,
Oh,
hey,
hey Mel. That makes sense.
That does make sense.
Yeah.
So it was actually originally written as Hey Jules. It was written for John Lennon's son, Julian Lennon, after John Lennon had left his wife and started dating Yoko Ono. And so he wrote the song to try to cheer up Julian out of a bad situation. And then when he decided to put it on an album, he changed it to Hey Jude.
He's like, Dad, who's Jude?
Yeah, no.
That's you've never called me that. Why are you saying that?
That's not the song. But yeah.
All
Hey
right.
Jude.
Cool.
Hey Jude. It's a good choice.
Mm-hmm. And that rounds out the GMG MAST top 60.
Yeah. Woo. Alrighty then. Pat, Mark, the spirit of Ronnie J, along with you, our beloved friends, family, and joiners. Go get your good morning this week, and may God bless and guide your lives as you live, as you work, and as you game.